Muggy as well. So let's bring in meteorologist. We have Chris Mulcahy in the studio, as always. Top of the hour and top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning to you. So I know you've used the word hot a lot, of course,
Yeah,
humid
what else
as
do you
well.
have?
So, well, there's a bunch of them. I actually have a weather
You have
dictionary on here.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah. But it's also National Hot Dog Day.
What?
So I want everyone to celebrate.
you.
Yeah,
That's great.
this guy's having a great time.
Yeah.
So I want to take this moment before I get into the forecast. No weather alert day today. So good news there.
is good news.
What do y'all like on your hot dogs?
We talked about this last week, right?
We talked about this when the
around July 4th.
when the hot dog eating contest came
Oh,
up.
okay. So I want to hear your answers.
Mustard. I'm a mustard gal.
Just mustard?
Yeah, I mean, I love a Chicago style dog too,
I love-
and I love chili, but like if I had to go just standard regular
Okay.
condiments, mustard.
I would chow on a sauerkraut mustard dog.
Oh,
Ooh,
that's
same,
solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard from certain people. My dad thought this too, that a ketchup on a hot dog is un-American.
I've heard people
I
Yeah.
don't put ketchup
poo-poo it.
anymore.
I've
Why
heard
is
people-
it un-American?
It's just back in the old school. It was really just mustard and relish was the main thing.
Yeah.
So that's just what he says. But actually, my combo is I like ketchup, mustard, relish, and mayo.
You put mayo.
I
on
put
your
mayo on hot dog.
Put mayo on fries.
No. Oh, technically,
That's
if I'm
a
gonna do mayo
thing.
with fries, is I will mix it with other stuff like mayo and barbecue, mayo and ketchup.
That's a little
That's
okay.
a-
Yeah.
That's a
something
bit better.
A
else.
Chipotle mayo 100% of the
Sure.
time.
Sure.
Yeah, but I think there's no boundaries. I'll put anything on a hot dog.
Yeah, I do like the Chicago dog too.
like
Whatever's
Chicago
on
dog.
that.
Yeah, but you can't eat all of it because things are just cascading.
true.
That's part
You-
of the fun.
I don't remember last.
Pickles and tomatoes.
That's the fun of
and that
trying to-
little chili pepper that's surprisingly.
Oh, that's right.
And a poppy seed bun.
The poppy
look
seed
at-
bun I
yes.
like.
Yes.
Very nice. Well,
Okay, well-
now that you got us all in the mood for a hot
Now I'm
dog.
hungry.
Yeah, we're having hot dogs on Friday because I didn't know it was National Hot Dog Day until our producer Dorje brought it up, and that's why I wanted to make this real quick. So as little Chris eats that hot dog, let's move on. We
What
have
is that necklace? Is that a necklace?
Oh yeah, this is from a few years ago. That's when I thought it was cool to wear a rope necklace with a shark tooth on it. Yeah.
Surf's up,
You know
dude.
what? You look really cool.
Yeah, Kim's happy I don't wear that anymore. I'm just gonna let you know. And yes, I was the guy that wore a puka shell necklace
Yes.
too. Yeah.
Jade's roasting Chris.
Yeah, right
I
now.
just said, what is that? Is that a necklace?
Now, was that a necklace? I was like, nope, that's not a pendant or any saints. That is a fake shark tooth, not even a
okay.
real one.
Fake shark
Yeah, it was a fake shark tooth. I think probably got it from some store. I won't say. Anyways, we'll move on. We're looking at a chance for a shower and storm, really between about 2 to 6. That's the general window that I have just for any weather impact. So the usual, hey, it could be a heavy rain. You could have some lightning and some gusty winds. Boy, did we have a lot of thunder at our house. What about you two? Was it active for you or not as
Yeah.
much?
It was not as much.
Okay.
I had more activity over the weekend.
Okay.
We
So,
had some thunder.
and see that's the crazy thing is because I live in Northwest Charlotte and I feel like been the opposite because I've had no rain for about a week and then you guys have had on and off storms and then I had rain for about 2 hours. My backyard was almost flooded.
Really?
Yeah. So whenever we have excessive rainfall, like a little stream starts to flow through it,
Yeah.
and it was muddier than normal just because we haven't had much rain recently. But yeah, we measured about over 2 inches of rain in Northwest Charlotte. So it just kind of shows those individual
Scattered.
cells that even across the 485 loop, if you measure just the 485 corridor, it's 67 miles long, and from a difference of Pineville up to Huntersville, it can be a completely different forecast. So we use that as a boundary oftentimes. As far as the active rain, it's not as active as yesterday. We're not talking about flash flood warnings, but we do have some rain that's anywhere from about Lenore over to Morganton and Connolly Springs, Eichard being impacted by this. These are likely going to dissipate over the next couple of hours before they regenerate to more storms up in the mountains. So if you live from Morganton up the mountains, Boone and Banner Elk, you have the best chance for rain today. The secondary spot is going to be southeast of Charlotte, but it's kind of like a dry corridor in between. This happens sometimes, but there's always a chance for an isolated storm. And somebody asked me this question recently, and I'm going to answer it as quick and simplistically as I can. Why do you have isolated storms? Why does this happen? Well, it's, the way that there's daytime heating, that, hey, you can have a pop-up shower storm because it's hot and humid and everything rises up. Mm-hmm. But it's called differential heating, that the earth isn't going to heat up at all the same rate. So those areas where you see blue sky and there's other clouds, those can sometimes warm up a little bit faster. So it's the areas and the pockets of air that warm up faster oftentimes will allow that cloud to form up. And then if those move over other areas that were once dry, that rising moisture that's a little more unstable will feed into it. So that's why you kind of have some clouds that get ahead of the rest that eventually lead to showers and thunderstorms. So quick little easy explainer there. That's why they're so unpredictable, because we can't predict that, hey, this patch of area is going to be warmer here. We can just kind of see it real time on the radar. But I think it's really between about 2 and 6 that we're going to have the best chance. That's not too unusual. It's usually after 2, the golden hour. If you've ever been to Florida and seen a 7-day forecast, pretty much every day has a 20% chance for rain. Yeah. We do that a lot here in the Carolinas as well. But then I think everything should be concluded by the early evening, so that's a nice little change. The only exception, the high country, you're going to see rain linger a little bit longer, and you're actually going to see a lot more rain than the rest of us. Our next best rain chances going forward, I think, are really Thursday evening, Friday, Saturday, and Saturday evening. Saturday, I think, is the best chance for widespread rain just in general. And let's go through the next coming rain chances. So we'll be able to see tomorrow's futurecast, or Saturday's futurecast, here in the Impact Studio. But I can show you what Thursday and Friday are shaping up to be. Thursday, I think we're dry most of the day, around 485, and Charlotte in general. But then once you get to the early afternoon, there's 2 o'clock, we're seeing clusters of thunderstorms, almost forming a line on their own fruition. This often happens that where storms can form in the mountains, if they're strong enough, they, on their own fruition, almost ride down the mountains from the high country to the lower elevations, and then we have clusters of storms that eventually arrive in the Charlotte area by the late afternoon heading into the evening. We don't have a designated, hey, there's a chance for severe storms by the Storm Prediction Center or watch out. I'm just telling you, I've seen this environment time and time again. Tomorrow we'll have a chance for at least a special weather statement that could say wind gusts up to 40 to 50 miles per hour. I would not be surprised if we have a stray 1 severe thunderstorm warning, likely not coming out to fruition or too much of anything, but you could have some gusty winds. And then it heads into the evening. And then once you get to about 8 o'clock, that's around when the sun is setting, it's really 8 to 10 that we dissipate that activity. And then we rinse and repeat. But this time, I think you see showers starting to develop a little bit earlier for your Friday, so it's more of the afternoon type of deal. And then heading into the evening, things start to dissipate. And then it looks like Saturday morning could start with a little bit of rain, and then we're going to do it again. After 2 o'clock, scattered showers and thunderstorms, because they're actually going to be a little bit more humid heading into this time frame. Check it out. This is our peak heat indices map that we have 100, 101, 103, 102 for the max. Now note, these are the peaks. Whenever we show you high temperature, it's not 93 all afternoon. It's usually 93 for about an hour. You're not going to feel like 100 degrees all afternoon. That might be visited for an hour tops. But once you start seeing the 103 mark, that means that Friday realistically could feel like 98 to 103 most of the afternoon. We're getting closer to that heat advisory criteria. It's once we have a chance at 105, the National Weather Service is going to issue that. So even though we won't have an active advisory, hey, close enough. Just note that that's going to feel much hotter than the last few days, even though Monday did hit a heat index of 103, so that gives you an example. Now let's talk a little bit about Tropical Wave Invest 93L. So as the weather goes, the weather changes. I'm letting you know it's actually a significant change from what we were talking about yesterday. The 30 mile per hour sustained wind, that hasn't really changed. The pressure really hasn't changed, but you're noticing that L, how it's moved over the recent hours, it's still over Florida. This is the big difference. We were looking at a surefire bet that we're talking about Tropical Storm Dexter later on today. This is actually good news, believe it or not, since this low pressure system isn't drinking directly from the Gulf. It's still being fed. It doesn't have a chance to become a tropical system because it's not over the warmer waters. It is being influenced, providing some rain. So as long as it stays in this path, we're good. We're just talking about a no-name low-pressure system. It's still giving a lot of rain, don't get me wrong, but at least it's not going to be tropical advisory level. And this also gives me an opportunity, because we are getting deeper into the season. The National Hurricane Center is going to update these type of systems every 3 hours, but it's the 5 and the 11 o'clock ones that we really look at, because at 5 a.m., whenever there's a cone, that's going to be updated. Whenever there's atmospheric conditions, that's updated. It's the intermittent ones in between that you'll still have some basic details, but like watches and warnings, some storm details like how fast it's moving, location, but you don't really have the cone updated or the tracks or the spaghetti plot. So that's the 11 a.m. update's really going to be a surefire thing. But this is one thing I did show you guys yesterday. What's the one thing that's going to weaken this thing? Land.
Oh.
Oh, it's follow the check. But hey, that was a good guess. That was a great check. And I also appreciate your gusto there. So. But wind shear is actually the top weakener usually, but not this time.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's land. And we were looking at like it was supposed to move out and then move back into land. Then it would have weakened it. That would have cut off its development. But since it's still over land, I think this barely even has a chance to hit a tropical depression. But there are signs that could be different. So still only a 40% chance that we have any sort of development into something. 40 is still a pretty decent shot, but by the 11 to 2 o'clock update, we'll see how that changes. But here's an example. All these models are tracking due west, but there are some signs that this could dip south and then move back to the north. So here's what that would look like. You have scattered showers and storms that push into Louisiana around New Orleans later on tonight, heading into tomorrow. And then once you get to about your Thursday afternoon, there's signs that the center could move offshore, and at that point, notice how it starts to twist. That would be the only opportunity we would have for a very rapid intensification. We already have winds at 30, so if it gets a closed center low, then it's officially a tropical depression. Then if it gains 10 miles per hour, it's a tropical storm, but it has very limited time to reach that. So that's actually good news. You could revisit this, the slight chance that goes the other way, but it just shows why you have to stick up with the forecast, because so much can change. There's so many different factors that go into this. But one thing to note is notice how it unravels. There, I'm going to repeat this. Here, look around Mississippi and Alabama. Look at all those storms, how they push to the north and east. That's moisture driving towards the Carolinas. So we always said since day one of this being tracked that it's going to be the moisture that spreads out. Oftentimes when you have any low that moves inland, it spreads out the energy around and can lead to more showers and storms. So that's why the only day that we have over the next 5 that has one of these maps for excessive rain is Saturday. So a low chance because you have extra moisture. That's the day that also could feel like 103 degrees through the afternoon. That's the one day that we're going to watch. But as far as the best storm chances, I already mentioned it. I think it's Thursday evening, Friday afternoon, but then Saturday and Saturday evening, you kind of have a longer period where it's a better storm environment. There's a nearby front. So if you have any weekend plans, I would really shift them to Sunday at this point instead of Saturday. Each day has a chance for storms. We know it. It's unavoidable. We know how it is. It's days like today that are better because that little popcorn kernel that pops up, it literally could be downpouring and you're seeing blue sky off in the distance. So I think that's more the environment today. Those are nice because you go inside, you eat a sandwich or a hot dog for National Hot Dog Day, and then you can go back outside and resume whatever you're doing.
All right, so it looks like we have a little dark gray cloud and some blue sky.
Yep, and those dark gray clouds that you're seeing that's just some of the rain that we've had recently. That's burned off, it evaporated, and it condensed. So it looks like a rain cloud, but it really is just a fresh cloud with ample moisture at the surface. Those will burn off, and then we'll have partly cloudy skies today.
And like you said before about the Invest DL Hughley.
Tropical Wave Invest in 93L.
Yes, exactly. That. I just knew a comedian that he's probably like, why are you naming me a storm? And it doesn't take a name to feel its impact anyway.
I still think over 5 inches of rain could be dumped in Louisiana because a low pressure system rotates counterclockwise. So the way that works, since it's around the shore, you still have that push when it's on the right side in general. That's drinking from the Gulf. That's taking those warmer waters. So it still is almost a direct conveyor belt because the atmosphere and weather is all about currents and flow. So it's still going to blast a tremendous amount of moisture just as if it were a named storm. For instance, Chantal was still technically a tropical depression, but if that didn't get a name, it would have been just a big time low, a big time rain that still gave some of the worst inland flooding that we've had in recent years. So yeah, names I feel like get more attention because more people are on standby.
Right.
But even if this is just Invest 93-L, it still could provide anywhere from 5 to 8 plus inches of rain in a short period of time. So it's still a pretty decent flash flood risk, especially for Friday and again into Saturday. For Louisiana, at least.
All right. Got to watch for our friends there. Thanks for the update, Chris.
Always.
All right. Enjoy National Hot Dog Day.
Oh, you know I will. I'm going to make it a week.
A week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make it a whole week celebrate. Make it the month.
Why not, right?
Oh,
You know
people
what?
celebrate their birthdays for a month.
That's right.
I will say there's one stance I have on hot dogs is what makes a great hot dog is a toasted bun.
Oh, for sure.
Like I'm talking about.
always
great.
toasty buns.
Yeah,
Always.
butter
Toasty
it, put it on the pan,
Yep.
and then just have that crisp of the bun. Mwah.
Oh,
If not,
I am
if you don't do that,
girl
you want the
who's
toasted
by
bun?
the grill. I want a toasty bun.
Mm.
I want a toasty bun.
Boiled, grilled, or flat top
Grilled.
dogs?
I like grilled or flat top. I don't want a little.
You
I
don't-
like both. I want a
You-
char.
you want a little
Bold
bit
is
of
a
that-
little-
You want a little crunched
Yeah.
casing.
Bold is for babies.
yeah, I'm gonna get a bumper sticker that says that.
You know, but like,
Yeah.
you know, it's easier for babies to eat. So I always think boiled hot dogs are for babies.
Yeah.
Boiled hot dogs are for babies.
Let's make T-shirts. Yeah, boiled hot dogs for babies. Yes.